Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories like these. Now, let's get into today's story video. AITA for outing my ex as gay to get his mother off my back. Although it's a lengthy and awful story, it turns out that my 25 female, soon-to-be ex, 28 male, is gay and has concealed this information from me. My suspicions were confirmed when I found him cheating, and he said frankly that he was not attracted to me in that sense, but that he desired children and a normal lifestyle. Whatever his orientation, I'll never forgive him for manipulating me into allowing him to use me to have children, and therefore the story is done, the end of the book. The majority of his family is comprised of religious extremists, and his mother is the overbearing mother-in-law from hell. The fact that you are no longer connected to her is another perk of leaving. He's from a religious family that does not believe in divorce, so she confronted me about how I was being immature and how marriage is about commitment, forgiveness, and working through difficulties, among other things, while I was cleaning up some documents and other items that had been discovered that belonged to my ex. The fact that my ex cheated on me was not disclosed to his family. Instead, he informed his mother that I was divorcing him because we weren't having often enough for me. I attempted to be polite, explaining that he had cheated and that this was the reason for his behavior. As I said before, I was not going to go into further detail since I know how his parents are and it is none of their business. Males are just that way, according to MIL, and if I wanted to have more with him and prevent him from straying, I needed to make myself more enticing to him and be a better wife. I kid you not, this is what she said. I completely lost track of what was going on. It had already been a traumatic and challenging day, and this was the last straw for everyone involved. Here's where I may be able to help out as the AH. In my conversation with her, I informed her that the only thing that would make me more desirable to my ex would be a change operation, and that I hope he and his partner would adopt her some grandchildren so that she could finally stop moaning about it. My best moment was overshadowed by the fact that she had just hit the worst and most raw nerve she could possibly have touched, and I erupted. His disownment is almost certain, and my ex-husband called me sobbing, claiming that I had ruined his life out of revenge for what I had done to him. My feelings are conflicted on the subject. Since his parents are such nasty people and there were no good alternatives available to him, I feel sorry for him, but I also believe that he has made his own bed in this place. Edit. A handful more observations from the comments. Due to the fact that his family is a fundy but not a violent one, they are more of the Mormon shunning kind, there is absolutely no prospect of bloodshed. As soon as one of his cousins came out and left the church, they'd all stopped talking to him and effectively disregarded him, treating him as if he were dead until he was ready to repent or do something else. The chances of someone physically injuring him are quite minimal, despite the fact that they are passive-aggressive, repressed, and bizarre as hell. In the event that they drive him out of his job, he will be able to sustain himself since he is not financially dependent on them and has a successful profession. His orientation was well known when we met, so this was not a surprise nor an admission to himself. We are getting married in 6 months, and he has a boyfriend with whom he has been dating for the last 6 months. Once I had caught them in the act and evicted him, I combed through his computer and uncovered messenger logs and other evidence that dated back to before he started dating me. He'd honestly put everything on the line so that he could seem to have a decent Mormon family in order to keep his family happy. That's all there is to it. He never loved me. I was just the first and only girl to express a sustained interest in him over a period of time. Update. So I thought it was not worth bothering the whole AITA sub about it, and some people appear to think I invented the post or something, which I understand considering that I would have had a terrible time thinking something like this could happen to me prior to it really taking place. Due to the fact that there aren't many places where I can freely discuss what's going on for obvious reasons, I decided that this would be a good way to get some things off my chest, while also keeping those who were interested up to speed with what I'm working on. It has been a pleasure to hear the many different points of view that have been expressed. Given my internal turmoil about the circumstance, hearing about other people's experiences and perspectives on it has been quite valuable to me. At this point in my life, I'm not secure in my ideas, and this chat has helped me find some peace and go on with my plans. Following the incident with my mother-in-law, I finally had radio quiet from my ex's immediate family, which has been a wonderful difference from the previous situation. My profession compels me to contact with a few of his extended family members, so I will continue to see them, despite the fact that they have given no indication that they are upset. The fact that they may only reach me via my lawyer at this time, and that everything major belonging to my ex has already been transferred, means that anything else must be sent through the legal office, is well known to each and every one of them. My personal interactions with them should not be required, but in a small town, it might be hard for me to be away from people for extended periods of time. When my ex attempted to break into my home while I was at work on the day that I posted the story, it was reported to law enforcement and I was fired. In the meanwhile, I'm remaining with my parents for the time being until I feel more confident in my surroundings. What I don't know is how it will play out or why he is acting in this manner, when doing so would only get him into greater problems. But I'll leave that up to my lawyer and the police to find out. Nothing I can tell you about the events that took place between him and his family, and I have no intention of seeking to learn the truth about what occurred. It has been quite difficult to remain in this city since my ex-husband, and I believe, his family distributed false information about me before the event with the MIL, which has made living in this city extremely difficult. The fact that it's a small town causes people to act in a different way towards me. Following the discovery of the cheating, the local state president has been kind in declaring that he would make every attempt to assist with the rumors that have circulated across the community. No mention of orientation. Even though I do not want to leave the region, I feel it is possible that I will be compelled to do so, at the very least temporarily, until the legal issues have been resolved. The decision was reached by my attorney and myself that we would seek an annulment since it would take less time and would be more difficult to defend in this particular circumstance. Hopefully, the ex-boyfriend will not have any objections to this arrangement. Since we did not merge our accounts, I am pleased that we will not have a large number of shared assets to deal with in the future. I'll be okay financially. Things might have been a lot worse if I'd chosen to be a stay-at-home parent or anything like that. I'm going to start my medical journey right away, because I had been sad about the way things were going in my marriage for a length of time prior to it happening. I was already thinking about it before anything happened. I don't want to waste any more of my time and energy on this subject after putting in so much effort into it already. I'm hoping to be able to restart dating activities at some point in the future. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next at this point in time. Thinking about that gives me a headache, to put it mildly. I wanted to address a few of issues that came up in the comments part of the post, which I think are important. Though I've identified as a Mormon for the most of my life, I have not participated actively in it, and I do not want to paint the whole LDS Church with the same brush. Even though my ex-boyfriend and his family were out of the ordinary, I was aware that individuals like them existed. In addition, please refrain from making sweeping generalizations about gays based on my own experience. My heart goes out to the LGBTQ community, and I know that they would never do such a thing to any other person in the world. I don't think it is okay to pick out individuals in general, or else I wouldn't feel nearly as horrible about it as I do. Because of their prejudice, my ex-family wives organized this whole thing. What I really want is that this had never taken place between us in the first place. To summarize, I think the most crucial aspect is to avoid disclosing the identities of individuals wherever possible. However, despite the fact that some may believe it is acceptable under the circumstances, it is not pleasant and does not leave one feeling good. There has been some clarification of my identity, and I am no longer the target of personal harassment, but that is about the extent of the settlement. Choosing the appropriate course of action is now entirely up to me.